Welcome to the Fight Night Daily podcast. It's post-press conference here at Riyadh season, Beterbiev versus Bivol. A very interesting press conference today. Packed gallery. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh with George Warren in the front row. I planted myself over there for a little bit of digging around, a little bit of spying for Spencer Oliver. First of all, what did you make of the press conference today?
Listen, it was exactly what we thought it was going to be. You know, you got two guys there, gladiators going head to head, the best fight in world boxing right now, two undefeated going for the undisputed light heavyweight title, a title that has not been claimed for over 25 years. Both guys know what's on the line. Both guys were very respectful. Maybe not respectful to Eddie Hearn, may I add, with Beterbiev there. He seems to be a little bit rattled about Eddie Hearn and his comments in the build-up to this fight. But we know what Eddie's doing. Well, he's trying to get. He's playing the psychological game here. You know, Beterbiev is one of those guys that doesn't give you nothing away. No emotions in his face. You know, and he's been very like that. But
well, he almost called Eddie out.
Well, he actually did call Eddie out.
Eddie kind of declined, looked across at Fraser Clark and said, "You better stand in between us if anything happened here." Yeah. He really did get to Eddie. And do you know what was a sign of? He is an ice-cold killer.
Absolutely.
He does not going to allow himself to be rattled by the psychology of Eddie Hearn for his man Dimitri Bivol. Did we learn anything apart from that about these two guys up there tonight?
Absolutely. We learned that they are both supremely confident of victory on Saturday night. They both believe in themselves. This is the moment when reality kicks in and you see a chink in the armour. You see maybe a fighter crack a little bit, maybe the stare doesn't go or whatever, but these two were ultimate professionals up there. They know exactly what they're going into. They were respectful. And one thing we can guarantee stylistically with these two is we are going to get one of the best fights in world boxing. And that's because of Artur Beterbiev and the way that he fights. He will bring the fight straight to Bivol. Bivol has to stay switched on. He has to be sharp the whole time.
They both said they're prepared. They both said they're ready. Before we bring in Callum Simpson, who's going to join us first of all tonight, does the man who wins this, or is it only Dimitri Bivol who becomes the pound for pound? I'm going to throw this to you before Callum joins us. Yeah. Number one in the division. Number one in the world. Pound for pound. Above Canelo, above Crawford, above Inouye.
Absolutely. We're talking about achievements here, and you're talking about, you know, the best be the best.
Not just Beterbiev become the number one as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So not Bivol.
No, I think whoever wins this fight becomes pound for pound number one in the world. How can you deny that?
Well, that's a very good point to bring in this young superstar. I think he's going to be a superstar. Come in and join us, Callum Simpson. Right. I forgot what a giant you are. What's the colour scheme tonight then, first of all?
We're going for a lime green, I'd say. A lime green. Yeah, we've got red tomorrow. We've got lime green on Saturday again.
Okay, light heavyweights, okay.
Yep.
Does the number one in the pound for pound list, the guy who wins this, does he go there on Saturday night?
100%, I agree. So, you know, for me, I actually have Beterbiev higher in my pound for pound than Bivol.
Where do you have him at the moment?
I'd say probably number three, just from, I'd say, well, you have to put Terence Crawford up there, maybe Inouye, Canelo up there. I know that Bivol's beaten Canelo, but it's not a light heavyweight, is it? It's like me fighting Fraser Clark. You know, it's not the different ways. Yeah, he made the weight, but for me, it's a different way.
How can you deny a man, a monster that has gone through 20 opponents, all inside the distance at a very high level? You know, and you go, if he goes and beats Dimitri Bivol, who's ranked right up there as well, he has to become pound for pound number one just on merit alone.
Yeah, I think if you look at a lot of people that have got good records, good knockout ratios, they're fighting a lot of journeymen in the first few fights, whereas Beterbiev was straight away. He were in there with top class operators. He win world level fights at some of the start of his career.
Do I take it that you're picking Beterbiev for this fight then?
I'm gonna go Beterbiev late stoppage, rounds 10 to 12.
Interesting. Have you sparred any of these two before?
I don't know if I mentioned I sparred Beterbiev. I don't know if I mentioned I were there for 9 weeks.
I wanted you to bring it up, you know. I thought you was going to come out.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, everyone's asked me what it's like to spar Beterbiev, and I'll say I've never experienced a spar like it. You know, I've never been hit by anyone as hard as him. Like I said, I sparred heavyweights, cruisers, light heavies, and I've never been hit by anybody as hard as Beterbiev. And it's not just the pressure and his power, it's the mental pressure as well. And I think everyone you speak to, you just something about his aura, And there's a certain aura you get from him. Like everyone that speaks to him, they're terrified to speak to him. And in the ring, it's the same.
Did you learn a lot?
I learned a hell of a lot. Not just from in the ring sparring with him, but also from the camp, how his trainers out, and just seeing how his training was set up. So I learned a lot about myself as well. I went for 3 weeks at first, and then another week for Callum Smith fight.
Are you keeping an eye on Ben Whitaker here? And is he a guy who you want to smash in the face?
I keep an eye on everyone here. Everyone, Chris Eubank.
No, but he's not in your weight division.
Neither is Ben Whitaker.
Ben Whitaker is a guy I see you. You and I have spoken about it.
That's the fight that I want. I mentioned that to Ben Storm, to Boxer, to Sky.
Fight down the future for sure.
You know I want you to fight him.
I know you know I want to fight him as well, but I don't think that. I mean, that's not going to happen. But
just quickly before we let you go, I just want to ask you one question that a lot of people are wondering if Beterbiev has that boxing IQ to match someone like BeterbievBivol. Yes, he's got the strength, freakish strength, but is his IQ good enough to match him?
Of course he is. He beat Usyk in the amateurs. He was Olympian, so 295 amateur fights. Of course he is.
Brilliant. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much. Let's get you down in the studio to talk sport for a fight now. Well done, Callum. Thank you. Let me just take that microphone. I think Brad Jacobs from Top Rank is going to join us. He's just been up on the top stage. Oh, and Artur's here. I'm not going to call him arrogant because I don't want to get the treatment. Come on in, Artur. It's Artur and Brad. How are you, sir?
Good.
Great to see you. Very good. The last time I saw you was in Quebec City. You had a great night against Callum Smith. How looking forward are you to this atmosphere in Riyadh, the biggest fight of your career?
Like same Quebec, Quebec City. Remember me?
I do remember you. Yeah.
Exactly same.
What? So you're predicting another knockout?
My feelings, everything like the same.
You never change.
Never change.
You're going to get another knockout?
We'll see.
Artur, I wanted to ask you about that incident up there with Eddie Hearn. You seem to turn to him and ask him if he wanted actually to go tonight, if he wanted a fight tonight. Tell us a little bit about that. Was that because he got under your skin in the build-up to this?
I don't know. It's a little bit heavier than me, but couple category,
Did
but
you feel the fear?
no, I'm not feel fear, but I mean, but he talk he's a little bit heavier than me, It's not good. You need to make weight and after talk with me.
I know you never change things, but we followed your career. Riyadh season, big payday, the world is watching. It must be an amazing feeling to come this far in your life, in your career, to have the fight you want and to get the chance to win all the belts.
Yeah, of course I'm exciting. I'm really waiting for this fight. I'm getting ready Saturday night.
And you are both very respectful to each other. Now, this is the ultimate gladiatorial sport. You both know what you're going into, and you both know it's going to be a war in there on Saturday night.
I think so.
Brad, you've had this guy for a long time at Top Rank. He's a very special character. As you say, the record speaks for itself. 20 wins, 20 knockouts, undefeated. He's not a man given to praising himself, but give us a bit of praise about this guy and what it's like working with him.
I said it earlier today. If you look up professional fighter in a dictionary, this man's picture is there. He is the epitome of professionalism. He does his job. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't disrespect anybody. He gets in there and gets a job done, and that's all anybody could ask for.
If we get a close fight, have we got a rematch clause for the two men? There's no rematch.
The public will demand a rematch.
Yeah, they will.
Brad, a lot of people talking about the age of Artur Beterbiev, and yes, he's still very much at the top of his game, but would that play a factor now? We know, can you just tell the viewers and the listeners, how Artur lives and how he's been able to continue to perform at this level at his age?
The proof is in the pudding. The gentleman is always in shape. He's always ready. Age is not a factor at all.
And injuries, etc. We know that he was out with the knee injury.
That's part of the game.
Absolutely.
This is part of the game.
Absolutely.
And a final question for you, Artur. What will you do on Saturday before you fight? Will you go to pray? Will you speak to your family? Will you have a workout? Tell us about Saturday before you fight. What's your day look like?
Like usually, like you said, everything.
Eat, pray,
sleep, speak with mom, everything.
Speak to your mother?
Yes, of course.
Always before you fight?
Every day, not always before fight.
We love and respect you, brother. It's great you're here, and it's great to be here with you. Thank you very much. Thank you always. Thank you, Artur Beterbiev and Brad Jacobs. Thank you, sir.
I think it's fair to say he's the coolest man on the planet. Is that right?
He's very cool. I mean, like you said, don't you remember when? Because I did a lot of interviews with him for Top Rank at the Callum Smith fight, and I sat with him for, I want to say, 45 minutes, but for about 45 minutes as we shuffle here into position again, and Artur is Artur. He's still talking some of his.
He's got an aura around him, like so. When he's
aura.
standing here, when he's standing here, you feel his presence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you feel on edge yourself a little bit. That you go, don't want to say the wrong thing to this guy. We're in fight week. We're a couple of days away. We know they're cutting weight. They get a little bit edgy, and you think. But certain fighters are different. But with Artur, you feel his presence, and that is a special gift on its own.
There is a thing with him. He has got a very dry sense of humour as well. We had a little giggle there while you were chatting to Brad. About the phone as well, and he was just playing with the microphone a little bit. He is probably not a guy who is given to wanting to talk much, to be around people. He's just being himself.
Yeah.
And look, it was a bit of fun with Eddie Say. Eddie's a brilliant promoter. Artur made nothing of it. He didn't smell the fear as we were hoping, as we are about to be joined by, well, it was Hamzah Sheeraz, but he's drifted off.
Let me just pick up on this thing with Artur Beterbiev and being up there.
Here's Hamzah. Here's Hamzah now. Here.
How are you, big man?
Come on in. How are you? How are you? Great to see you. I did see him sliding there out of the way, but we got you back. So tell us about the colour scheme today.
All white.
All white. Are you all white?
He's all right. Everyone's all right, isn't they?
That's the way I speak, mate.
So, ambassador for Riyadh season. What does that look like when you come out here? What have you got? Duties? Are you coaching young kids? What are you doing?
You know what it was when I first got announced as it. I didn't really know what it consist of, and then I come over here for the UFC, and I got such a warm welcome in. And yeah, then I kind of understood what the assignment was. Just to inspire people, carry on doing what I'm doing, and then ultimately win. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Hamzah, everyone keeps throwing that bait at Chris Eubank Jr. and your name keeps coming up, but he's not biting, mate. They're dangling the carrot and he's not taking the bait, is he? Like, what do you read into that?
I think one day he's just going to get sick of it and he's just going to go on an outblast. You know what I mean? He's going to go on a mad one. But it's never going. The way I'm performing and the way I'm going about things, I'm coming for him. It's as simple as that.
Showboating and trying to steal the show. And
I don't really like it. I find it a bit cringe. He's been out the limelight for a year now, and I feel like he's kind of lost that touch and he don't know how to come back into it. So personally, I find it a bit cringe.
Do your fingers and fists tingle to want to put him in his place?
Of course, I was sitting there watching him just talk,
And
my language, talk.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there thinking, I'd love to crack him in his face, man.
Do you wish you were walking out there against him on Saturday night then?
100%. What kind of question is that? You knew the answer to that already. I'd love that. I'm itching for it.
You just feel though that we're getting to a position here because that fight keeps being mentioned and we're out here and he obviously wants to be a big part of this Riyadh season. He's a great character. So, love him or hate him, you're invested in him because of what he is. Because of the character he is. But you feel that he's sort of being pushed into a corner, and where he's going, Hamzah who? I never heard of this guy. Now he's going, well, you feel that fight will have to happen sooner than later.
I think he's going to get put into a position where it's got to happen. It's as simple as that. Listen, as a Riyadh season ambassador, it's one of the biggest 160 fights out there, and I'm sure with His Excellency backing me, it's the fight that will make happen.
Now, Little Birdie tells me it wasn't ever really anywhere near getting signed, but there was a little tickle about you and Canelo potentially facing each other, and that was earlier this year. But it's put him in your mind. You and I have spoken about this off camera before. Is that a guy you're targeting next year as well?
I wouldn't say next year. I'd say maybe give me a year and a half, 2 years. I think that's a very realistic fight.
In a year and a half, 2 years, mate, Canelo Alvarez will want no part of this. Trust me, mate. He's at that stage of his career where he'll go look at that and go, risk and reward, no fakes, mate. He doesn't want that.
A couple of quick ones. Prediction for Beterbiev and Bivol for Saturday night?
Got Beterbiev. I've got him doing. I just see him being that more physical and being that more stronger, and I feel like it's gonna down the stretch. It's gonna be the difference.
Oh, it's going to be a stoppage?
I think so. I believe so.
And what about Wardley and Clark, which is a slobber knocker?
I think that comes down to whoever lands first. Whoever lands first, whoever lands clean, whoever lands hard.
They're talking about adjustments and minor adjustments need to be made, but we know where it's going to go. It's going to take off from where it left off. There's no adjustments. It's going to be like one of those old-time slugfests, and that's what we're going to get with these.
Absolutely. So what's the plan for the rest of the night for you? Where'd you go from here?
I'm going back to the hotel and going to sleep.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
Well,
Going back to the
it's
hotel,
great
going
to
to
see you.
sleep.
As always, well done, brother.
It's always a pleasure,
Can't wait to see
mate.
you fight
Pleasure.
again. Thanks for your time, as always, Hamzah, Sheeraz. Hamzah grows every time I stand next to him. I'm convinced in London he was 6'3.5", and he now looks about 6'5".
Think to yourself, like he started off as a.
Do you not feel very big to you? Does he not feel really big to you?
Of course he does. He started off at a welter, and you look at him and you think you're going to end up a heavyweight, mate. Like he's just growing. He seems to be growing the whole time. Yeah, he's huge.
How amazing is that? That there was some talk. This is what I've been spying a bit this week. That there was potentially talk. They've just started the talks of a Hamzah Sheeraz, Saul Canelo Alvarez fight. I think
Alvarez
end of
won't.
next year.
Alvarez won't go nowhere near that, mate. It's
He
like,
won't when he goes
when
up
you
to
get
super
when you
middleweight.
Alvarez has built his legacy. He will not want to risk that against someone like Hamzah Sheeraz. We've talked about him now becoming one of the best, young prospects in world boxing right now. Trust me on this when I say this. Like experience speaking here. When Alvarez is looking at him, he's thinking, I'm not having none of that smoke, especially in like another 12 months. Alvarez is that bit older as well. He's just going to manoeuvre his way, pick the right fights, and sail off into the sunset. Hamzah Sheeraz won't go into that.
Well, talking sailing off into the sunset, that is what I'm about to do right now. Into the night, into the skies, to have a little cup of tea, some lovely Arabian tea. Thank you to our guests, Callum Simpson tonight, Artur Beterbiev we had for you, and Brad Jacobs, the great Hamzah Sheeraz who's really coming through, and this fella. From us, good night, and we'll see you tomorrow at the weigh-ins.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.